Welcome to the Lucidus podcast, where I explore everything, and I'm also going to fix my frame here. There. So today you get to look at this beautiful embroidered tapestry that my mother brought back from India after her time there. And while we do that, I'm going to chat about my continued deconstruction of the rape trial and what it means outside of the rape and how it affected and affects me just as a person and in the broader scheme of life. So, wanted to, let's see, I'm trying to think what day it was. So, this was the second day after finding out, not that it matters, but soon after finding out that the trial wasn't going to happen. And was just feeling the words that kept coming up in me were loss and failure. Loss and failure. So I decided to journal and just see what was there. And I'd like to share that. And it's interesting. So I wrote this, was yesterday I wrote the journal entry, and then as I'm recording today, I still feel this idea, this belief structure of loss and failure very prevalent and present in me, and how much it hampers my ability to live and to discover this infinite, unbounded potential inside of me that I believe is inside all of us. So it also severs connections. I always talk about, I believe everything's connected to everything else. My current understanding of loss and failure severs the connections that I talk about. So I'm looking at them closely because I would like to not sever connections anymore in my life that can be very helpful. And I also want to become more intimate with the potential that's inside of me. So here's some writings from yesterday. This process of the rape trial has shown me time and again that what I think should happen, or what I think will happen, or what I want to happen, do not happen. I don't know if the grammar in that sentence is right, but that's not what this is about. And while that is not a problem, I make it a problem over and over again by labeling and judging the not happened as a loss or a failure. I'm going to read that again. I make it a problem over and over again by labeling and judging the, quote, not happened as a loss or a failure. Over and over and over, for the past 3 years, I labeled all that did not happen as a loss or a failure on my part. That somehow the not happening with the rape trial was wrong and should not be happening. That's a mind cramp. The not happening should not be happening. How miserable were those times? Awful, dreadful, terrible, unbearable. So today, the rape trial did not happen. Is that a loss? No, it can't be. It never happened. How can I lose something that never occurred? Okay, then is it a failure? No. How can I fail at something I never did? Something I couldn't even do because there was no choice in it. It was beyond my control. So instead of making myself miserable and unbearable to myself and others, I'm looking closely at what I've learned about things not happening. Mainly, that things do not happen every day. And mostly I don't notice or don't care. It's only when I crave the thing I do. It's only when I crave the thing do I react with an attitude of loss or failure. I want to explain the difference. Sometimes I experience loss. I feel like something has been taken away from me, something that shouldn't have been. It belongs to me. There is much grief and anguish in the taking away, in the loss. Other times I experience failure. I feel like I've done something wrong or bad or not good enough. I feel terrible about myself, and I think I should have made it happen, regardless of whether it's in my control. So loss is the taking away. I've been robbed. And failure is the failing. I'm not enough. As I sit today and reflect on all the times I felt loss and failure over the trial process, I cannot count them all. And yet, from this ending vantage point, the end, I can see how there were no losses in things not happening. And there were no failures in things not happening. There were just things not happening. Things don't happen. My rape trial is not happening. That's neither a loss nor a failure. It just is. And that's a lot to accept. To accept it without labeling it as anything more than a thing not happening. Sure, I have lots of emotions, thoughts, feelings, energies. It's a new place for me, a new vibration, a new mindset, a new experience. That's a lot. I give credit for being with all the change and the newness, and I give credit for learning the lesson. Things do not happen in life, and that's that. Things will continue to not happen in life, and that's that. It just is. The reason this is coming up for me today is that I'm reaching out. I'm asking, seeking, connecting, or attempting to. But in the asking and seeking, things will not happen. There are requests that will be turned down, ignored, shunted aside. There are requests that will be denied, ghosted, forgotten. Knowing this, do I make the ask? Do I seek new podcast highlights? Do I seek book illustrators? Do I seek deeper connections with people? Do I ask? Knowing that things will not happen. Yes, I ask, because that is the natural, normal process of life. Things do not happen, and that's okay. It isn't loss, it isn't failure. It is things not happening. And I go on living, learning, loving, being the thing I am, and that's enough, always enough. It'll be interesting for me to experience myself and life from a place of things not happening, instead of insisting that they do happen. It's more of an ask and a see, as opposed to an insist and force, which is exhausting. So here's to refining my understanding of loss and failure in relationship to things not happening. The two are not related, except by my bias and misperception. So yesterday I was feeling sort of this initial wave of energy after, the first sort of realization, the first layer of realization of understanding the rape trial wasn't happening. And I made a lot of, requests, like just sending lots of this and that, all this stuff out. Like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do life. I'm gonna da. Some personal, some professional, and it was all great. It was all great. I get up this morning and I'm just sort of filled with this dread because I'm like, oh, I did hear back from some and they want more information. And then I'm like, oh, but I'm not going to be enough, and I'm like, okay, there's the failure. I didn't hear back from others. And I'm like, oh, see, they didn't answer. I shouldn't have asked. There's like the loss, like something was. So So it was great for me to write this yesterday. It was great for me to make all the asks and begin to see what's out there. And it's great for me to notice my reaction to things not happening as though I've lost them, even though I never had them, or that I failed at them, even though I never did them. So I have an interesting relationship of loss and failure with things that did not happen, which is different than loss and failure with something you actually did do. That's a different conversation. But it's kind of crazy. I have to laugh that I have a sense of loss and failure when things do not happen, which is ridiculous. But it's where I am, and I'm loving that I'm looking at it and that I'm seeing it for what it is, and I'm just gonna like sort of let it humorously and also very tenderly be what it is, um, because just because it just is. So my gift today is laughter and humor at looking at how our idiosyncrasies and just how super insane they can be. And if you, like me, are sometimes reticent in the asking because you have a relationship with things not happening that somehow is negative, that somehow you're responsible for the thing not happening. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't know that there's many more words that need to be said about this other than just allowing the next layer of understanding to happen, acceptance, realization, and growth. So I hope you enjoyed my mother's beautiful tapestry. I just recently got that after she passed, and I have loved, loved, loved having it in my house. So, and love to you all. Bye bye.